This is 2-3 factored form. What does factored form tell us? Well, let's do a little review of what factoring is. So our example 1 is actually a review of what we already know. If we had x squared plus 7x plus 12, could we factor that? Yes, we can. Remember, we need factors of 12 that equal 7. This right sign tells us our signs are positive. This tells us are the same. This tells us they're both positive. So I need factors of 12 that equal 7.
4 and 3.
3 and 4 is perfect. Thank you. So we can factor this into x plus 3 and x plus 4. There you go. You're done with that. Not too terribly difficult. We can make it one step harder. 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. This is only one step harder. It's not too bad. Remember, this is called the AC method because this is your A term and this is your C term. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. So I need factors of negative 6 that equal my B term, which is negative 5. So this is A times C, and they need to equal my B term. Negative 3 and 2. You're really close, but not quite. Nope. This tells us our signs are different. The bigger one has to be negative. I like negative 6 and 1. Thank you. I really appreciate the effort. So x minus 6. It is the first day of November. I get it. X plus 1. Now, what did we multiply c by in the first time? We multiplied it by 2, correct? So if we originally multiplied by 2, we have to now divide by 2. Is negative 6 divisible by 2? So that's going to give me x minus 3. Does 2 go into 1 evenly? So remember, it slides up in front of the 2. 2x plus 1. That's it. You're done with that part. That's just a review of what we should already know. Keyword is should. And we're 25% of the way done through our lesson. All right, so that was a review. What exactly is factored form? Factored form is y equals a times the quantity x minus p x minus q, where p and q are x-intercepts. I should try to write that. P and Q are x-intercepts. So what factored form tells us is, it tells us the zeros, roots, or solutions are all the same exact thing. I think that's called synonyms in language arts class. Of the function are the solutions. So it's pretty much just your x-intercepts. That's what we're looking for in factored form. The x-intercepts. And Wednesday, we're reviewing for our quiz. We're going to do a foldable that you can use on the quiz on Thursday. Friday, I'm not going to be here, so I don't know what we're doing next. I don't know if we have a sub or not. All right, let's go on to example 2. Graph y equals negative x minus 5 x plus 1. All right, what we have to do is this is already in factored form, so it makes our life pretty easy. We're just going to take this parenthesis and put it equal to 0. And then we're going to take this parenthesis and put it equal to 0. Because what we want to find out is what is the y-intercept, or what are the y-intercepts if there's more than one. So this is a subtracting 5, so the opposite of subtracting is adding. So x equals 5. I don't think that's too difficult. And this one, this is plus 1, so to get rid of it, I subtract 1. All right, we can go ahead and graph this now. Not yet, anyways. Hopefully it stays that way. All right, and my pen just died, so we're going to switch over to black ink. It's going to go up about almost 10. So you can count by twos if you need to, that's fine. All right, so we know these are the x-intercepts. So it's going to cross the x-axis at -1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to cross the x-axis at -1 and 5. Next, we need to find the axis of symmetry. What is the axis of symmetry going to do to these 2 points? Split them exactly in half. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what's half of 6? Half of 6 is 3. Thank you. 1. You are telling us the answer, so this right here is my axis of symmetry. That's not supposed to be a point, it's a dot. That's my axis of symmetry.
I was saying 2 because I knew that was the answer.
All right, I know you did. Our axis of symmetry is at 2. So what we're going to do is take that 2 and plug it back into our original equation. On the x, yep. Two minus 5 is -3. 2 plus 1 is +3. Negative times -3 is +3. 3 times 3 is 9. So we're going to go over 2, up 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Put my point on the axis of symmetry. And that is called our vertex. And on this graph, that's actually a maximum. That should be very familiar. And you are done.
Wait.
Okay. Yes.
Is the axis of symmetry when you're plugging into x?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was like confused.
Because what we want to do is find out what's the y value when x is 2. The 2 is actually the average of this point and this point.
Wouldn't it be negative?
No, because -3 is +3.
Oh, I didn't see
times
negative
that's
on
fine.
the other side.
That's fine. So what we wanted to find, Nick, is when x is 2, which is my axis of symmetry, what's the y value? So really what we did is we plugged in, we're solved for the y value when x is 2. That's actually a very good question. All right, halfway done with our lesson. Can I go on? All right, example 3. Example 3. Write the equation of a parabola. Write the equation of a parabola with x-intercepts of -2, 0, and -1, 0. So write that equation of a parabola with x-intercepts of -2, 0, and -1, 0, and which passes through the point -3, 20. So write the equation of a parabola with x-intercepts of -2, 0, and -1, 0, and which passes through the point -3, 20. If you remember back about 10 minutes ago, I told you what the equation of a vector form is. Y equals A, x minus P, parentheses, x minus Q. And I said P and Q are x-intercepts. So that's what we're going to plug in for right now. Y equals A, x minus, our first intercept is -2. And our second intercept is -1. So y equals A, x minus -2, x minus -1. Is x minus -2 really good math? It's not math. Let's clean that up a little bit. 2 negatives equal A. That's much better. X plus 2, x plus 1. So now that we have that, it says it wants us to pass through -3, 20. So -3 is going to be our x value. 20 is going to be our y value. So we're just going to substitute in and solve for A. 20 equals A. My x value was -3 plus 2. My x value is still -3 because it's the same graph, plus 1. All right, let's do some advanced math here. -3 plus 2 is -1. -3 plus, I'm sorry, a vacuum cleaner. Yes. You're welcome. -3 plus 1 is -2 is correct. Let's keep going. You guys are doing awesome. -1 times -2. And it's better math to put the 2 in front of the A.
Oh, is that just because it's like simplified?
You're exactly correct. So A does equal 10. It doesn't say solve for A, it says write the equation. So our final answer is y equals, we're going to substitute in for A, which is 10, x plus 2, x plus 1. That is your final answer. And we are 3/4 of the way through the lesson. All right, example 4. I know you guys are all wondering, when am I ever going to use this? Let me show you. Has anyone ever been to Top Golf?
Yeah.
All right, I have never been there, but I'm told it's a driving range and they have air conditioning and it's really nice.
It's fun.
And it's fun. All right, Marco.
Hello.
I was waiting for that. Thank you. Marco hits a golf ball. This is going to take longer to write the problem than it is to solve it. Just tell me right now. Marco hits a golf ball into the air.
I would hope into the air.
Yeah, well, sometimes it just dribbles out, and we call it a worm burner. Into the air. From the third level of a driving range, not to be confused with the one with Coach Rudisill. Sorry, bad joke. Level of a driving range that is 48 feet high. It is. My wife made that.
She's good at heights.
Yep. The function below gives the height h in feet of the golf ball t for time, seconds, after it is, you're welcome, hit, and I'm recording this lesson so you can actually watch it later. After it is hit into the air. When, I told you that before we started, when will the ball hit the ground? So we're trying to find out how many seconds is it going to take for the ball to hit the ground.
No offense to whoever came up with the problems, but the problems suck.
Well, you guys all always want to know, when are we ever going to use this? When are you ever going to use it? Word problems. So, if you
I
don't,
mean in real life.
I know. Did you know Elon Musk has a company called Tesla?
Yeah.
And they also have a thing called SpaceX.
Oh yeah,
And what do their rockets do after they launch them?
they come down by themselves.
And they land where?
I think back at the Kennedy Space Center.
Nope. They land on a barge in the ocean.
Oh what? Right.
A barge, yes.
Oh.
What shape is that rocket making?
Parabola.
It is a parabola. So there you go. They're doing this right here to determine exactly where that rocket is, where to place that barge so their rocket doesn't fall into the ocean.
On my space simulator, they have parabolas right there. And I had to
There you go.
spend like 2 days just.
If you've ever seen the movie Hidden Figures, what is she calculating? Parabolas. All right, let's finish this lesson. All right, it gives us the equation. And that equation is, first of all, is my parabola going to open up or down? If you're hitting a golf ball, hopefully it's opening down. So, and that equation is height in terms of time, h in terms of t, height in terms of time, equals negative 16t squared plus 32t plus 48. 48 is the height you are above the ground. So that's your height right there. This is a pretty standard formula, actually. Odds are you would probably see this formula on the ACT or SAT. This is a very common SAT, ACT question. All right, if you remember back about a month and a half ago, we made a foldable on factoring. What would it say the very first thing you should do when you factor is?
AC.
Close, but before you do that, see if there is a GCF. Is there a GCF?
Yes, there is.
There is. It's negative 16. So we're going to pull out a negative 16, and that's going to give us t squared minus 2t minus 3. All right, so now that we factored that out, that makes this problem so much easier. All right, so we need factors of -3 that equal -2. This tells us our signs are different. The bigger one needs to be negative. 1 and -3, what does that equal? Oops, we have a winner.
That's the only way you can get
T plus 1, T minus 3. So now remember, we're going to put those equal to 0 and solve. T plus 1 equals 0. T minus 3 equals 0. This is a plus 1, so to get rid of it, I subtract 1. T equals -1. Plus 3 plus 3. T equals 3. Has anyone in here seen the movie Back to the Future?
Yeah.
What did they do in it? Okay, how do they do that?
Well, they have to basically turn into
A what?
I forgot the name of it, but they have to actually.
All right, has anyone ever seen the movie Endgame?
Yeah.
What do they do on that? How? What do? They use a time machine. Do time machines really exist?
Sadly, no.
So can we have a -1 second?
No.
That is called an extraneous answer. That does not exist. So our correct answer is not -1 seconds, but 3 seconds. In 3 seconds, the ball will hit the ground.